That's an interesting question because I think you're going to be okay, but you know what? We can check under the statute specifically because it does talk about that under the court control, but it's not part of the court at that time. So let's see what that says. That's an interesting distinction. Courthouse security. No person shall knowingly carry a loaded firearm, blah, 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 whether concealed or in the open, within the person's control in a courtroom or area used by the court. But then it defines, and this is interesting here where it defines area used by the court. It means a building dedicated exclusively to court use, the entire building exclusive of the area, and any other building which includes a court facility, courtroom, jury assembly, deliberations, judge chambers, etc., waiting areas directly connecting these rooms. Then it says, provisions shall not... Now, it looks like you would have a problem there because it is covered by that. However, the one thing I want to point out is here. It shall be an affirmative defense to any prosecution that there was no notice of the provisions of paragraph 1 posted in a conspicuous place. And additionally, we had this issue come up where it says, let me just read this here. Area used by the court. Here. Can't find right this section, but there's a section right in there because we had this issue. When you walk into court, you have the metal detector. Prior to that metal detector, you are legal to have your firearm. You can't go through it, but once you get to it, they are allowed to have facilities to check your firearms. Some do, some don't. What I understand in some towns, this is shown to me, if you check your firearm prior to that entranceway, which is where the stop line is and you can do it, before your firearm is returned, they run a NICS check through the state gun line on you, unbeknownst to you.
Without your consent.
So I would not, right, without your consent. Now, that issue is something that I've been battling because, we'll talk about a little later, there's an abuse of New Hampshire's state gun line versus the national NICS line. That's one area of abuse. So I would never recommend checking your firearm at a court that even does it. Not all of them do. But I had one bailiff told me that if someone comes up to that metal and says he has a gun, what should he do? He said he would arrest him, but I showed him it would actually be a false arrest because you're allowed right up to that point. But the one place to definitely exercise a lot of caution is at that courthouse. That's Ken.
What does loaded constitute? Chamber or just a loaded?
Good point. Good point. Here's the thing. Back to our handgun carry, if you want to push the envelope to the max, if you have a handgun with no round in the chamber and a loaded magazine not in the firearm, then that is as close to loaded as you can get, not need a carry license, and still be legal. And I actually had a case recently involving that very thing where they couldn't, and that's because the language is with the magazine in it, with. So that's where so if the magazine is loaded, but it's not in the gun and there's nothing in the chamber, then you have that unloaded, yes.
You want to report that way?
No. You never go to court with a loaded or unloaded or anything. No courthouse in any way. Right, and cameras.
Audio recording.
Well, I'll tell you what, all the courts, I even had one guy once stop me and tell me I had to have a whistle on my key ring. He confiscated my whistle. What do I do this all day, Gonna take my fingers? I mean, it's pretty stupid. Yeah.
So with that loaded magazine outside of the gun, can I conceal that without a license?
Yes. You're pushing the envelope, but the answer to that is yes. That is it, but no other. Yeah, the back.
Is there a precedent for what constitutes open carry versus concealed in terms of like a percentage of the weapon?
I don't have any case law on that, but it better be open. Be open. You know, I mean, fully exposed. But I don't have case law for New Hampshire to. So you better maximize your status there. But let me also just show you what we're talking about under 58, because you see, New Hampshire enforces the carry license by way of the provision under 159.4. And here's what it says: no person shall carry a loaded pistol or revolver in any vehicle or concealed upon his person except his dwelling, house or place of business without a valid license, therefore. So that's how it gets enforced. A loaded pistol or revolver shall include any pistol or revolver with a magazine, cylinder, chamber, or clip in which there are loaded cartridges. So we're playing with that word "with" in that. That's why I said you're pushing the envelope right to the edge. For each violation, Class A misdemeanor. After that, it's a B felony within 7 years. They have that gradient grid for prosecutions. Now, of course, we as freedom and liberty folks, we say that shouldn't be there at all. Of course, we want to see a no license carry, and there's issues with that. But just to distinguish something between New Hampshire and New Jersey. Okay, you illegally carry your concealed handgun without a license. And you're looking at an A misdemeanor. It's in district court. Even if you're convicted of it, you're not going to lose your gun rights. First offense, please, keep you out of jail with half my brain tied behind my back. Okay, New Jersey, you possess a broken BB gun. Okay, not afraid of it on your person. Left in your car, in the trunk, a broken BB gun that you got from out of state in a box of all your other stuff when you were a kid, that you're driving back home with. That is a violation of New Jersey's handgun possession, because they view air pistols, and it doesn't matter whether it's operable, as firearm, and all you're facing there is 10 years in state's prison with a presumptive 7 years and a minimum mandatory 3 to 5 before you can get parole. First offense, no discretion on behalf of the judge. That's a difference right there, New Hampshire, New Jersey. Yes, sir.
So how do you get the BB gun from point A to point B?
So what? Oh, how? Yeah. Right. How do you get? Right. How do you do it? So, well, what you have to do is it has to be cased, unloaded, and if it is in your trunk, you have to be within the exemptions. And if you're outside the exemption, which is strictly going to your home or going directly to your home or directly to the target range in New Jersey, then you no longer are legal. So what they've done in New Jersey is they've set up a system of affirmative defenses where you are guilty until you prove yourself innocent in New Jersey, to prove that you're within exemptions. And these exemptions are narrowly construed by the courts, and the penalties are draconian. And that is, and they recently bumped these up to that second degree within the last 2 years. Same for possession of a dreaded assault firearm. Now let me tell you, New Jersey, an assault firearm includes the Marlin Model 60 .22 rifle, the Remington 552, because it holds over 15 shorts. And the limit in New Jersey is any semi-automatic rifle with a fixed magazine capacity holding over 15 rounds. So it wiped out all those class of 22s, etc. Now, there's a famous case in New Jersey called Pelletieri, in which he went to trial over this. He had won a Marlin Model 60, had won it in a shoot, never fired it, still had the tags on it. They ended up getting it out of his safe. He was charged with another charge that was dismissed, but they still had the gun. He had no priors, no problems. But once they had that, he was convicted for possession of an assault